Now, she buried this infatuation completely and became a whole new person. Sarah shook her head. Don't worry. To be honest, I can tell you that because I have gotten over it. From now on, let's just focus on our own lives. After saying those words, Sarah generously said, Do you still want to come in for some coffee? But I'll advise you against it because your Yvette is looking for you. Juan turned around and saw his fiancée. Yvette was staring at them resentfully. I really mean it. I sincerely wish you both happiness, and I will definitely find someone who loves me too. After saying that, she closed the door in front of both of them. With that move, she cut off the past completely. From now on, she would be a whole new person. Juan turned around. Why are you here? Juan looked at Yvette standing there with impatience on his face. What did she say to you? His fiancée was only concerned about this issue. She was wondering if Sarah still hadn't given up. How can she be so shameless? She clearly knows that you are engaged to me. How could she still try to seduce you? Hearing how she spoke of Sarah, Juan looked rather unhappy. What nonsense are you talking about? Go back to your room now. Yvette grabbed Juan's hand. Juan, I was wrong. I didn't mean anything else. I really love you, so I don't want to lose you. You go back first. At that moment, Juan only felt suffocated in his chest. All this time, Sarah had always been by his side, and he didn't feel much. But after hearing what she said today, he really felt uneasy. Seeing Juan leave, Yvette became upset and her face turned very grim. That damn Sarah must have said something to Juan. Otherwise, Juan wouldn't treat me like this. Yvette knocked on Sarah's door, and when the door opened, she slapped Sarah in the face. Sarah was completely unprepared and suffered the hard slap. Yvette's strength was very strong, and now Sarah's face was completely red. Sarah, how can you be so shameless? You clearly know that he is engaged to me, and yet you still want to seduce him. How can there be such a shameless person like you? Yvette said indignantly. Sarah sneered. Seduce him? Since when did you see me seduce him? Yvette, I'm warning you that I'm not someone to mess with. Just because you are his fiancée doesn't mean I can't do anything to you. Yvette snickered. That's right. You are the heiress of the Lombard family, and what am I? Just a lowly little starlet. So, just because of that, you think you can bully me? Gradually, there were already people watching around them. Some of them were also from Chon'ea. Although Yvette was just a lowly starlet, there were still some people who knew her. After hearing their conversation, they whispered among themselves. Sarah, don't you always think you're better than everyone else? Why did you come and steal my man though? Yvette snorted. So it turns out that the heiress of the Lombard family isn't that much better after all. You're only capable of doing such shameless things. You. There were some people in the crowd who could speak the language of Jetroina, and they were telling others what these two people were talking about. Everyone then started ganging up on Sarah. But when Sarah heard them, she couldn't help but just laughed at them. What do they even know? They have no clue what's really going on here, so who are they to bit *H around? How shameless this woman is. Yeah. She seduced someone else's man, and now she's acting as if she's right. She's really too shameless. If it were in the past, women like her would be thrown into the river. Unpleasant words and comments kept pouring out of the onlookers' mouths. Upon hearing the people around siding with her, Yvette couldn't help but feel smug. Sarah, hear that? Not everyone in this world is like you. Everyone else knows what it means to have morals and ethics. There were some middle-aged women in the crowd who, after knowing what was happening, came over and shoved Sarah. Those middle-aged women hated homewreckers the most. So, they shoved Sarah with all their might. Sophie emerged because she was worried and stumbled upon the sight. Upon catching sight of Yvette, she narrowed her eyes. Why has this woman come here to stir up trouble? As she observed Sarah being manhandled by the group, Her demeanor turned icy and her gaze became piercing. "What are you guys doing?" Sophie's voice was laced with frigidity and a hint of menace. This caused the onlookers to take notice of the striking young woman approaching them. Startled, the crowd halted their actions as Sophie made her way to Sarah's side. "Sarah, are you okay?" Sophie looked at her worriedly. Sarah shook her head. "Sophie, I'm fine. This has nothing to do with you. Just go back to your room first." Apparently, middle-aged women in Jetroina hated homewreckers the most. Yvette had just insinuated that Sarah was a homewrecker just now. If Sophie were to step forward and take Sarah's side, those middle-aged women would not let Sophie go easily. "Sophie, step aside. This matter doesn't concern you," Yvette spoke. She naturally knew Sophie's identity. But so what if she knew? They weren't in Chonaea, and even if Sophie was Tristan's woman, Sophie had no authority to go against her. Furthermore, she was currently engaged to Juan, and even if Tristan were present, he would have to respect Juan's status. As Sophie observed Sarah's bruised and swollen cheeks, she felt a surge of rage and murderous intent. This murderous intent silenced the middle-aged women who were watching, preventing them from uttering any further nonsense. "Who did this?" Sophie posed the question, but her gaze was already fixed on Yvette. "You're that lowly actress, aren't you?" Sophie's voice dripped with icy contempt. "Kneel down and apologize. Homewrecker? You're the real homewrecker here." Yvette was taken aback by Sophie's intimidating demeanor. "Sophie, let me tell you. This is Jetroina. Don't think Tristan can have your back here. Oh, by the way, Sarah, Charles and Juan have split up. So if we buy out Juan's company, Charles won't have any opinion about that, right?" Charles and Juan's relationship was not that good. "What? Sophie, do you know what you're saying? Why are you speaking so arrogantly? How is it so easy to acquire Juan's company?" Yvette found Sophie ridiculous. Does she think acquiring a company is as simple as playing a game? Isn't Yvette clinging to Juan because of his considerable power and influence? Well, if you're so skeptical, why don't we invite Juan to come out and talk? Ask him if Tristan has the ability to do that. Yvette was intimidated by Sophie's confidence and began to feel afraid. Juan's company was the most important thing to him, and if something were to happen to it because of Yvette, he would never forgive her. At that moment, Isabel came out of her room and saw her aunt being bullied. Her anger immediately flared up and she rushed over. "Aunt Sarah, are you okay? How dare this Yvette bully someone from the Lombard family? Who does she think she is?" "I'm fine," Sarah reassured everyone, touched by their concern. "Yvette, how dare you bully my aunt?" Isabel shouted, rolling up her sleeves. "Do you think the Lombard family is a pushover?" Yvette was even more worried when she saw Isabel joining in. "Isabel, what do you mean? Just because you're from the Lombard family, do you think you can steal someone else's fiancé? Did I do something wrong? Just because my family background isn't as good as yours, do I deserve to be treated unfairly?" Yvette began to play the victim. "This is Jetroina, so what can they do to me?" "That's right. You can't bully someone like this, no matter how powerful you are." Some of the bystanders agreed. "You're all women. Women should not do such shameful things," others chimed in. "You people. They know nothing. What right do they have to even say anything?" Seeing the situation was turning in her favor, Yvette became even more pleased with herself. "Ms. Lombard, I know your family is powerful, but I just hope you won't try to seduce my fiancé. Is that too much to ask? I know you're very capable, but that has nothing to do with me. I just want to live a happy life with my fiancé," she said pitifully. "What the hell, Yvette? What are you talking about? You just want to piss us off, don't you? Let's be real, your fiancé isn't that great. Only you treat him like he's some kind of prince. No one else cares about him the way you do." Isabel was really furious by now. Isn't Juan's betrayal already enough to hurt someone as amazing as Aunt Sarah? And now she's getting insulted in public. Huh, really? If you're all so unimpressed by my fiancé, why don't you ask your aunt if she really doesn't like him? Yvette's smirk was dripping with sarcasm. You? Isabel was genuinely outraged. She knew her aunt had been hurt because of her love for that scumbag Juan. Yvette couldn't help but feel even more smug. Even she can't deny her feelings for him. Who are you to come here and spout nonsense? Yvette had a sharp tongue. Besides, she was now convinced that Sarah still had feelings for Juan, and that gave her the confidence to make such remarks. Yvette, are you done? The relationship between me and Juan is purely platonic. There's never been anything between us in the past, and there won't be anything in the future, Sarah fired back. If you keep making baseless accusations, I'll sue you for defamation. After remaining silent for so long, she finally spoke up. Did Yvette think Sarah was an easy target? She was the heiress of the Lombard family, after all. The members of the Lombard family would never let themselves get bullied like that. Besides, she was not just representing herself right now but the Lombard family. Sarah, let's not waste our time with her. Let's go inside, Sophie suggested, knowing that Sarah was upset and didn't want her to deal with this any longer. She would handle this for Sarah. Huh, what's the matter? Is what I said not true? It's because I spoke the truth that you have nothing to say. The Lombard family members are all shameless. Yvette sneered fearlessly. Isabel couldn't control herself any longer and slapped Yvette across the face. Yvette, being a celebrity, had never experienced such humiliation before and immediately fought back. Belle, come here. Sarah was worried that Isabel would get hurt and wanted to help. Ha, you two are ganging up on me. Everyone can see that. How could you do that? Yvette cried. She had scratch marks on her face from Isabel's sharp nails. The onlookers did nothing and simply watched from the side. Sarah grabbed Yvette's hand to prevent her from attacking Isabel any further. Yvette, I warned you, didn't I? Don't mess with anyone from the Lombard family. Why can't you understand? I've tolerated you for a long time, Sarah said, shoving her. At that moment, Juan came back. He didn't expect to see such a scene at all. Seeing Yvette sitting on the ground, his eyes darkened. He had only been gone for half an hour. How could so much have happened? Yvette saw him come back and tears immediately welled up in her eyes. Juan, look at them. They're bullying me. I didn't do anything, but they bullied me. You have to stand up for me. Yvette's tears were streaming down her face. It was as if she was greatly wronged. Juan walked toward them. His gaze had been on Sarah the whole time. Her face is red. Had Yvette hit her? What happened to your face? He asked. At this point, Sarah didn't want to see Juan at all. Since she had decided to put him in her past, she wanted to forget him completely. She didn't want to have anything to do with anything or anyone related to him. Juan, please control your fiancée. If she continues to behave unreasonably like this, I won't hold back anymore, Sarah said, pulling Isabel toward her. Juan, you saw it too. The three of them were clearly bullying me. They look down on you. How can you still be so indifferent? Do you really like her? I'm your fiancé, Yvette said, panicking. Yvette had never seen Juan like this before. Has he fallen for Sarah? After hearing Sarah's confession, did he realize that he likes her? Is that it? How can I allow this to happen? Yvette had worked so hard to be with him, and at this point, she absolutely could not allow something like this to happen. When Juan saw Sarah's swollen face, his heart ached for a moment. He didn't understand how he could feel this way. He thought he liked Yvette. So how could he possibly feel sorry for Sarah? Did you hit her? Juan suddenly asked. Yvette got up from the ground and grabbed Juan's hand. Juan, what's going on with you? I was just defending myself. Look, my face is also swollen. Look at my face. They hit me, Yvette said, feeling aggrieved. Seeing Yvette acting so shamelessly, Sarah couldn't help but feel amused. I really think that I must have been blind before to like the same man as you. Yvette's fake appearance was really disgusting. Sarah, just admit it. You have ulterior motives toward Juan. Yvette continued to shout. Don't forget that he's my fiancé. No matter what you do, you can never have him. Juan looked at the cold and indifferent Sarah. She had just admitted that she had liked him before, but now she had decided to forget about him. These words were still deeply imprinted in his mind. Sarah, there's no need to argue with them anymore. Juan, your fiancé bullied Sarah and even slapped her. You saw it too. What should we do about this? Scum. There is no need to be polite to scum like him. Just whack the shit out of him. Sorry, Sarah. Juan apologized directly. He really didn't expect Yvette to do such a thing. Yvette was stunned. Juan, I was also slapped. Why is he apologizing to them? Apologize to Sarah now. Juan pushed Yvette out. Yvette looked at Juan incredulously. What did I do wrong? I was also hit, but now you want me to apologize. Juan, how can you treat me like this? Apologize. Juan's voice became stern. Yvette bit her lower lip until it bled. She reluctantly said, I'm sorry. After all, if Juan really gave up on her, she would be at a loss. The onlookers were still whispering. Sarah really didn't want to hear the bitching. This is the last time. If your fiancé comes to provoke me again, I won't hold back. You know what I'm capable of. After saying that, Sarah turned and went back to her room. Sophie and Isabel were still outside. Juan, get a grip on your fiancé. The Lombard family is no doormat. Isabel pitied her aunt. Juan is just trash. Sophie, let's go in. Sophie didn't say much. She just looked at Juan coldly. However, her gaze made Juan shiver. Oh my. She is just a young woman, but she has such a terrifying gaze. Sophie and Isabel went into Sarah's room. How could they leave Sarah alone at a time like this? What are you all still standing around for? Juan's face was very gloomy. Even before he knew that Sarah liked him, he would never allow anyone to bully her. The others saw that he was not someone they could mess with, so they could only leave quietly. Yvette didn't know what he was thinking now. All she knew was that his expression was really scary. Yvette usually wasn't afraid of Juan, but right now she didn't know what to say. Juan, Yvette, do you think that just because we're engaged, you can do whatever you want? Do you know the status of the Lombard family in Gypsdale? If Tristan felt like it, he can completely destroy us. Do you understand? Why is this woman so foolish? She can't be of any help, yet she still manages to cause trouble for me. Yvette was a little panicked. Juan, I didn't mean anything else. I just love you too much. She likes you, and besides, I didn't do anything to her. The Lombard family may be powerful, but they can't just bully someone the way they like, right? Yvette's eyes were filled with tears. All right, you can go back now. I'll apologize to Sarah at a later time, Juan said coldly. Go back where? Yvette asked. Go back to Chon'e. Gosh. She has caused too much trouble. I don't want to see her face. Yvette was completely panicked now. But aren't we here to attend a dinner banquet this time? If I leave, who will be your companion? You don't have to worry about that. Just go back. Juan didn't feel like talking to her at all. As Juan walked away, he couldn't stop thinking about how to handle the situation and deal with Sarah. Yvette stood there, feeling even more anxious. She had only slapped Sarah once. It wasn't such a big deal, so why did Juan treat her like this? Does he still have feelings for Sarah? If he does, what should I do? I won't let that happen. Meanwhile, in the room, Sarah was laughing at the two girls who were sitting on the couch and guarding her. I have told you guys that I'm fine. Sarah knew that these two girls were genuinely concerned about her, but even if they stayed here with her, it wouldn't help. I'm not the kind of young girl who will take my own life over this. She was already in her 30s. She really knew what she was doing. She wouldn't be affected by such a small incident because she knew that there were many people around her who cared for her. That damn Yvette. I never liked her anyway. She's just engaged to Juan and already acts like she's invincible in the entertainment industry. In the past, no matter how she acted, it had nothing to do with me. But now she's bullying you, so I can't tolerate it no matter what. Isabel had never been so angry before. She wasn't a petty person. But Yvette was seriously something else. She was able to drive Isabel up the wall. Seeing her all riled up, Sarah couldn't help but laugh. Chill, it was just a slap. I'm fine. I know you guys care about me, but it's getting late. Let's hit the sack as we still have plans to go out tomorrow, right? We can't let those two idiots ruin our plan. Okay, Sarah. Rest early. Hey, why don't you sleep with Isabel tonight? Sophie wasn't worried or anything. She just wanted someone to keep Sarah company so she wouldn't feel so down. Yup, the bed's big enough for both of us, so why not? I'll stay with you tonight, Aunt Sarah. Isabel didn't want Sarah to be alone either. She wanted to make sure Sarah didn't overthink things. Sarah shook her head. No, I'm fine. I just need some alone time. You guys should head back. She was grown enough to handle her emotions. All right then. You take care. It's already late. Don't wander around, okay? Sophie still had her doubts. But she didn't say too much since she knew Sarah didn't want the attention. Sophie and Isabel left the room, and Sarah finally let her smile fade. She was the heiress of the Lombard family, so she always had to keep up appearances and maintain the family's reputation. Even if she had been hurt, she refused to let it show. But now, she couldn't hold back the tears anymore. She no longer tried to keep a brave face and simply let her tears out freely. Sophie, what can I do now? Aunt Sarah must have felt terrible. I wish I could do something for her. Isabel felt sorry for Sarah. I'll not let Yvette off the hook. Isabel was furious. One might have reprimanded her, but she felt Yvette deserved more severe punishment. Sophie hummed in response. Yes. It sucks when we don't get to teach her a lesson, but it's okay. I'm sure we'll get to settle old scores with her once and for all. Sarah is a nice person who doesn't deserve such treatment. Even if she's not, Yvette had no right to judge her. Besides, she's the mastermind behind this. Hearing those remarks for the first time, Isabel was at a loss for words. Don't worry. Yvette won't have an easy time from now on. Go back to your room and take a rest. Let's go out and have some fun tomorrow. Sarah doesn't want us to worry about her, so let's not dwell on this anymore, Sophie advised. All right. I'll listen to you. Isabel was not ready to let this slide, but since Sophie had expressed her opinion, she had no grounds to contradict her. Sophie returned to her room, opened the hotel's computer, and logged into a website to hack Yvette's account. Besides obtaining some information she needed, Sophie also learned that Yvette used to sleep with people before she became famous. All the evidence she gathered came in the form of photos and videos. Yvette had rubbed Sophie the wrong way since they met at Walter's banquet a year ago. Sophie did not have time to teach her a lesson as she had been busy. Since she wants to stir up trouble, I'll play along. Let's see if a C-lister like her can still hold her head high once all this information leaks to the public. Does she think she could do anything just because she's engaged to Juan? Sophie then sent all the photos and videos to Tristan. Upon receiving those files, Tristan texted her right away. What is this all about? He was somewhat puzzled and did not know what Sophie wanted to do, as he had no clue who Yvette was. Sophie responded with another text message. This person pissed me off recently. Sent all these files to the media for me. Sophie uttered. Since Yvette kept provoking us, it's time for us to give her a taste of her own medicine. Tristan replied. What do you mean? Did she bully you? His expression turned grim after he received the message. I don't care who she is. Anyone who provoked Sophie will be doomed. Sophie wrote back. Yes. I just don't like her. And I want her reputation ruined. Sophie was highly protective of her loved ones. That was why she decided to deal with Yvette using such a method when she bullied Sarah. She cares about her image and prestige the most, right? I'll destroy them once and for all. Tristan texted. Got it. Are you having fun in Jetroina? Novel drama. He was totally uninterested to learn about a C-lister, as he could take her down within the snap of a finger. At that point, he just wanted to know if Sophie was doing well in Jetroina. Sophie replied, everything is fine here. Besides drinking in the hotel room, we didn't do much this afternoon. But I'm happy. The girls she came to Jetroina with were all her close friends, so having the opportunity to chat and drink with them brought her joy. At least she could speak her mind and not have a single worry in the world. Tristan was pleased to know that she was having a great time. That was all that mattered to him. He texted back. All right. Good to know. Sophie asked. How about you? Busy as usual. She knew how hectic his schedule was. There must be a ton of work waiting for him to deal with. He replied, not too bad. I'm not as busy as I used to be because Felix can now settle many issues for me. Sophie could not help but chuckle upon imagining the pitiful look on Felix's face. She responded with another text. Don't be too hard on him. After all, he's still Isabel's boyfriend. You should at least show Isabel some respect. Tristan texted back. Please. Me taking the trouble to coach him personally is a show of respect for Isabel. He opined that Felix should be grateful for the opportunity instead. There are so many people out there wanting me to coach them. Sophie responded with a text. It's getting late. I'm going to rest early because we're going to ski tomorrow. You should too. Tristan texted back. Okay. Enjoy your trip and be careful. She replied, I will. With much reluctance, they ended the chat. The couple missed each other so much, even though they had just been away from each other for less than a day. Both Tristan and Sophie had never had this kind of feeling before. Meanwhile, Felix was still complaining about Tristan. Isabel, I'm telling you the truth. Your uncle has gone overboard. He kept me so busy that I didn't even have time to call you. Yeah. I know what kind of person Uncle Tristan is. Stop complaining and do your work. I'll make it up to you when you get home. Isabel uttered. Really? How? Her words instantly aroused Felix's interest. She chuckled. What do you think? You men only have one thing on your mind. I'm not Charles. Let's kiss for 10 minutes, all right? I miss you so much. I wish I could fly over to see you, he said. Charles and the other men will never understand how I'm feeling right now. Okay. Permission granted. I'm going to hang up now. The girls and I are going skiing tomorrow, she said. Felix wanted to talk for a while longer, but upon thinking of the long flight she had today and tomorrow's trip, he decided to let her go. Meanwhile, Yvette received a call from her manager after returning to the country. What? Why do you call at this hour? Do you know what time it is? Yvette had lost interest in work-related matters ever since she got engaged to Juan. I'll marry into the Quigley family soon. Why should I work so hard? The manager was not pleased with Yvette's attitude lately, but she dared not express her disdain, knowing that Juan had her back. Yvette, did you offend anyone recently? Do you know there has been a lot of unsavory information about your past posted all over the media? What? Yvette was stunned for a while. The media aired some unsavory information about my past? What does she mean? Check out the news about you on the internet. I know you don't care about your career, but those scandals will take a toll on your marriage with Mr. Quigley, the manager warned. Haven't we taken care of those pictures and videos? How did the media manage to get their hands on them? Why would someone do this to Yvette? What has she done? Instead of wasting time listening to her blabber, Yvette promptly went online to check the news about herself. The color instantly drained from her face as she stumbled upon pictures of her servicing men before her rise to fame. What's going on? How did those photos end up there? Yvette and Juan's marriage would be jeopardized if the Quigley family were to see those photos. Yvette immediately dialed her manager's number. "Helen, do me a favor and delete these photos. It can't go on like this." Helen sneered. "If I could do so, would I have waited for you to call me? I'm afraid only Mr. Quigley can help you on this matter. You should call him instead. Also, a lot of brands that you endorsed have called. They want to terminate their contracts with you. Many brands would require an artist with a healthy image to become their endorser. However, her reputation and image were now ruined. It was only normal that those brands would want to terminate their contracts with her. Absolutely not. I can't let him find out about this." To Juan, Yvette was a pure and innocent woman. That was the persona she had established since the start. Juan would never marry me if he learned that I had been with so many men before him. "Helen, help me think of something. As long as you can help me solve this issue, I promise I won't mistreat you in the future." Helen shook her head. "Yvette, I want to help you, but I have no idea as to what I can do. The trending topics won't go down at all." Yvette was a C-list actress that had suddenly trended everywhere. There must be someone behind this. However, at that moment, they could not do anything at all. They could not find out who the other party was either. Yvette could feel her legs giving way. She saw a group of reporters waiting for her outside the airport. They rushed toward her when they saw her walking out. Yvette felt her headache at the non-stop flashes from the reporters' cameras. "I've always been a nobody in the entertainment industry. What's with the sudden crowd of reporters?" In the past, Yvette wanted to become famous. And for that, she would do whatever the investors wanted her to do. However, after she met Juan, she wanted to find a way to erase her past. Why did it end up like this? How is this possible? She wanted to run, but those reporters did not let her as they immediately formed a circle and surrounded her. "Ms. Reed, are you the person in the photos spreading on the internet?" "Ms. Reed, may I know if Mr. Quigley knows about this? Didn't the two of you get engaged recently? Will this matter affect your future with him?" Yvette was speechless. The questions got trickier as the reporters kept throwing them at her. Yvette did not know how or what to reply. It was clearly her in those pictures, and there was no way for her to justify it wasn't her. But how can I admit to it? If I do, then my future will be ruined. It wasn't easy for me to get to where I am. How can it be destroyed this easily? I regret to inform you that those photos were photoshopped. That isn't me. That's right. No matter what, I can't admit that it's me. Ms. Reed, those photos have already been authenticated. They aren't photoshopped. Plus, the men who you serviced have already admitted to it. The reporters continued to push her into a corner. Yvette was rendered speechless. What in the world are they thinking? Do they get any benefits if they admit to it? Even if there isn't any, why would they admit to it? How did things get to this point? Yvette was in a rather pathetic state when she finally returned to the mansion that Juan had bought for her. The other artists she had bullied in the entertainment industry had also come out to post complaints about her. In a flash, the pure and innocent woman turned into a foxy slut. At that moment, Yvette received a call from Juan. She panicked when she saw his name appear on the screen of the phone. Does he know about this? What am I going to do if he finds out? Will our relationship end just like that? Yvette did not dare to answer the call. Since she did not know how to face him, she chose not to pick up his call. Juan's expression darkened when no one picked up the phone. Naturally, he knew about what had happened. He found out about it only after old Mr. Quigley had called him. Old Mr. Quigley threw a fit and reprimanded Juan. Juan and Yvette had gotten engaged. Hence, the people in the upper-class social circle knew of his relationship with Yvette as well. Naturally, the Quigley family was humiliated when Yvette's scandal was released. Juan wanted to remove the trending topics, but he failed. After looking into the matter, he found out who Yvette had offended. He immediately called Tristan. However, Tristan was already asleep and did not answer the call. In the end, Juan could only look for Sarah. No matter what the reason was, this whole thing started because of her. Everything would be resolved if she was willing to say something. Sarah woke up early and put on thick clothes since she and the others were going for a ski. She was about to head out and call the others for breakfast. However, she was met with Juan standing outside the door. What's he doing here? Didn't I make myself clear yesterday? Sarah, can we please talk? Juan felt something change in his heart when he saw Sarah once more. Has she really been in love with me all this while? Juan, I think I made myself clear yesterday. There's nothing to talk about between us, Sarah said coldly. Even if I like him, I can't let myself look pathetic, right? It's very tiring to have a crush on someone. It's best if something like this never happens again. I never want to place myself in an awkward position like that again. Something terrible happened to Yvette, Juan exclaimed bluntly. Sarah was speechless. He came here to tell me that something had happened to Yvette. Is he trying to say that it has something to do with me? Juan, if that's what you wanted to tell me, then I have nothing to say. Does it concern me if anything happens to Yvette? No, it doesn't. Sarah, I know you dislike her, but... Before he could continue, Sophie and Isabel appeared and stood beside Sarah. Juan, we don't want to know what happened with you and your fiancé. Please don't disturb us in the future. With that, Sophie held Sarah's hand and walked away. Yvette deserves what she's getting. It has nothing to do with others. I definitely won't let anyone bully Sarah. Sarah, I know you're a generous person. No matter what Yvette did to you, I'll apologize on her behalf. Just, please let her off. Right now, it wasn't only Yvette's problem, as the matter also involved the pride of the Quigley family. Novel drama. Haven't I made myself clear? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not curious about what happened to Yvette. You don't need to tell me either. Your problems have nothing to do with me. Sarah did not know what had happened to Yvette, nor did she want to know. All I know is that I'm doing fine on my own now. Juan and Yvette had nothing to do with Sarah anymore since Sarah had decided to forget about the past. Hence, Sarah turned and brought the others for breakfast with Sophie was walking behind her. Juan was planning on speaking to Sarah again, but Sophie stopped him. Mr. Quigley, I think Sarah has made it clear. This is between you and Yvette, and it's none of her business. Juan looked at Sophie when she was speaking to him. Her tone was cold, and her gaze was emotionless. Even Juan was quite scared when looking at her. Tristan is the one behind this, isn't it? No matter how Yvette was in the past, things wouldn't have gotten this way if no one dug out the past. I did it, but don't worry. The pictures are real, Sophie replied calmly. After saying that, she went ahead with everyone and ignored him. At this time, Sarah finally knew what had happened when she surfed the internet, and the same went for Isabel. Isabel was extremely happy when she saw the pathetic state Yvette was in. Yes. This girl always thinks that she's better than everyone, right? Sarah furrowed her brows. So this was why Juan came looking for me. Aunt Sarah, listen to me. Don't think about anything else. She deserved it after what she did. One should never be too arrogant since karma would always be lurking. Okay. Sarah didn't say much and just ate her breakfast in silence. She never thought that the woman Juan loved so much would be someone like that, and she was even slapped by that same person as well. Just what is wrong with me? How did I get slapped by a slut like her? Even so, thank heavens this was all now in the past. Sophie then came and sat beside Sarah for breakfast. See, Sophie. That woman finally got what was coming to her. She was always arrogant, thinking that she had become a member of the upper classes. Who knew how Walter would react now that all of Yvette's scandalous photos were exposed? Maybe he would pass out from the shock and anger. Sophie was not interested in those photos and started eating her breakfast. What's there to see? Come on. Let's eat our breakfast, Sarah immediately said. She knew Sophie wasn't interested in all this. Even though everything had passed, Sarah was still happy seeing how Yvette landed in such a predicament. Sarah wasn't a saint. She wouldn't wish Yvette well since the latter had slapped her before. Sophie was relieved seeing that Sarah was in a great mood. She didn't seem affected by this. It seemed that Sarah was finally letting go, and nothing would change, no matter what one said. They all went to the snow mountain after their breakfast. They met Juan again at the hotel lobby, and he seemed to be leaving since his assistant was carrying a suitcase. Juan was about to leave since everything that had happened really affected the Quigley family, and Yvette was now his fiancée. Walter was not amused and told Juan to go back to fix it. Juan felt a bout of mixed emotions when he looked at Sarah. He didn't know what was wrong with him either. Sarah was always by his side, and she would always be present whenever and wherever he looked. But now, everything had changed. There was no affection in Sarah's gaze anymore when they looked at each other. She had truly lost her feelings toward him. No matter how much she liked Juan before, she would be able to forget him now. It was better this way. Finally, Sarah would not feel hurt, and her emotions wouldn't get affected because of him anymore. She wanted to be happy and be herself in the future. Sarah led the four of them in the car, and the car would send them to the snow mountain. Juan never once moved from his spot, even until he saw them boarding the car. "We should leave, Mr. Quigley, or we'll miss the flight." Walter wanted Juan to return as soon as possible, so they could only leave now. Walter would not be happy if they arrived late. Yeah. Juan didn't say much. So what if he had other thoughts now? Sarah had already given up on him. But why can't I let her go? Maybe he just wasn't used to it. He wasn't used to not seeing Sarah. She would always be there wherever he was. But now, her gaze was not on him anymore. Maybe that's the reason. Meanwhile, Sarah noticed that Juan was looking at her through the rearview mirror. He must have thought that I was the one who exposed Yvette. However, Sarah never planned on explaining that to him because it didn't matter to her now. What's wrong? Butterfly was also quite sensitive. She didn't know what had happened because she went to bed early yesterday. "It's nothing," Sarah replied nonchalantly and continued. "We're going to the snow mountain today, so everyone be careful, okay?" She was the one who brought them out, so she hoped that everyone could return safely. She didn't want to see anyone getting hurt. "Don't worry, Sarah. We'll be careful." Cecilia liked Sarah as well. Cecilia was quite obedient in front of Sarah even though she was a celebrity. "Okay. Since everyone is so happy today, let's sing a song. I always see people singing and dancing when they go on a trip. It looks fun," Cecilia suggested. She entered the entertainment industry at a young age, so she wasn't able to experience what others had done before. She really wanted to experience this simple happiness. "Sure." Isabel chimed in. "Anyone knows how to sing my new song? Sophie is the one who wrote it for me." Isabel's new song was, indeed, trending. She loved that song a lot because Sophie was the one who wrote it for her. "I do," everyone said unanimously. "Wow. I didn't know I was that famous." Isabel joked and continued. "Honestly, Sophie, you're truly my benefactor in life. I wouldn't have entered the entertainment industry if it wasn't for you." Isabel really loved to sing, and she would give her all just to get a chance to sing. However, she would have gone astray if it wasn't for Sophie. Sophie felt quite good seeing that everyone was happy. "All this glory belongs to you. It doesn't matter how amazing I am if you didn't put in the effort." Sophie just helped Isabel a little along her career. All five of them were singing on the way up to the snow mountain. Sophie wasn't someone who would express her emotions easily, but she sang along after being influenced by them. The journey from the hotel to the mountain was around 40 minutes, but everyone was happy in the car. This was what it felt like if one hung out with like-minded people. They would understand each other even without having to say much. Maybe they were happy because of that. All five of them knew how to ski, so they immediately went skiing when they reached their destination. They didn't need any extra training. Skiing was quite a dangerous sport, but all of them enjoyed the thrill. Tristan fought the urge to call Sophie as he knew they were on a mountain skiing. While staring helplessly at the report in his hand, Felix lamented. "They're having so much fun outside while we're stuck here working and thinking about them. This doesn't feel good at all. Is this the second day? Why is it only the second day? Time is passing by so slowly. I would have disregarded everything and followed them if I had known how miserable I would be." Tristan did not bother responding to Felix. Instead, he looked at Sophie's photo on his phone, which Isabel had just uploaded on her Instagram. The only image in the post was of her. It showed Sophie skiing while donning a red hat and a short white jacket. She had a languid expression even when skiing. Although it was just a photo, he could imagine how cool she must have looked while skiing. "She looks so amazing even in a photo. She's definitely the kind of girl I like." When Felix noticed Tristan looking at something so intently, he immediately walked over to take a look. "What are you looking at?" After seeing Sophie's photo, Felix shook his head. "You miss her too, don't you? Well then, let me fly over and find them. If they ask, we can say we're there on business," the man immediately suggested. However, Tristan shook his head and said, "Can't you see how happy they are together? Since they're having fun together, we shouldn't go over and disturb them. After all, they should give each other some space." Felix slumped onto the sofa and commented, "You've really spoiled her too much." Whatever Tristan did, he was always looking out for Sophie. But Felix was different. No matter what he did, he still hoped to be together with Isabel. When Charles walked over and saw the two lovesick men, he shook his head. "Seriously, guys. They've only been gone for 2 days." The man chastised them as he had difficulty understanding their feelings. Felix was reluctant to explain himself. Hence he asked, "You didn't come here to lecture us, didn't you? Is it because of Yvette?" In truth, Charles was reluctant to meet them. All this while, he never liked the bit *h Yvette. In fact, he wasn't sure if Juan was delusory to like such a girl. Charles sat down and responded, "Mr. Tristan, I know you are responsible for this. I got to say that you did a great job this time." In fact, Walter had sent Charles to investigate the matter. Nonetheless, there was nothing more to say, given that it was clear what had happened. Indeed, a slut like Yvette deserved the treatment. Felix was speechless seeing how much at ease Charles was. "This traitor. You're not going to help your sister-in-law?" he asked. "Sister-in-law? Do you think she can still enter the Quigley family?" Although Juan and Yvette were engaged, it was clear that the wedding was off now. "Has Juan returned?" Tristan asked as he knew the man had been called back. "Yeah, he got a scolding from my dad. It was really bad," Charles replied with a grin. Shaking his head in disbelief, Felix jeered. "Is he really your brother? I feel like he's more of an enemy to you." "You know our relationship has never been good," Charles replied flatly. Moreover, the incident did not have a devastating impact. Instead, it was only embarrassing. Everyone was gossiping about Juan being cuckolded. Meanwhile, upon learning that Juan had returned, Yvette immediately went to find him. As soon as she saw the man, she burst into tears. "Juan, I really don't know what happened, but all that was in the past now. I didn't want any of it. I was set up by someone. Juan, why aren't you saying anything? I really like you, you wouldn't reject me, would you?" she pleaded. "No matter what, those were just photos from before they got together. It shouldn't have any impact on their relationship now." Juan looked at the teary-eyed girl in front of him. "What was wrong with me in the past? Why did I fall for such a scheming bit *h? In fact, I treated her so well. Juan, what's wrong with you? Why are you looking at me like that?" Yvette started to panic as he had never looked at her like this. "I will make sure to treat you sincerely from now on. I will quit the entertainment industry immediately, okay?" She knew that this was what he had always hoped for in the past. "Yvette, do you think we can still be together after all that happened?" Juan hissed. Never mind whether grandfather would approve of their relationship. Even he himself felt disgusted. Those illicit photographs were too revealing. and she looked hideous in the past. How did I put up with such an ugly woman for so long? What do you mean, Juan? We are engaged. You can't just abandon me like this. Absolutely not. Yvette cried even more miserably. Yvette, I'm serious. You were really ugly before. Don't find me again. I don't want to see you ever. After saying those words, Juan pushed her out. I'm ugly. How could he say such things? Didn't he know how hurtful those words were? If I'm ugly, what about Sarah? Is she really pretty to you? Do you want to be with her now? Why didn't you say I was ugly when I was with you? Why didn't you tell me that when I made you feel so comfortable? Yvette pressed. Juan felt disgusted as he remembered earlier instances of them being together. Yvette, I'm warning you never to appear in front of me in the future. Every time I see you, I feel sickened, Juan chided before pushing her out of the door again. It was pouring rain outside, and Yvette did not have an umbrella. How did I end up like this? How did I allow myself to become so pitiful? Wasn't I the winner? Why did things turn out this way all of a sudden? Everyone in the entertainment world despised her. She had no more future in the industry. And what about Juan? He hated her so much. It was a lie that true love lasted forever, at least not for her. The online attacks on her looks and disgust were still vivid in her mind. She felt utterly lost and defeated in life. Meanwhile, Sarah was looking for Isabel in the snowy mountains. They had decided to go on their own ways earlier. However, when it was time to regroup, Isabel was still nowhere to be seen. Have you found her? Sarah returned and asked the others. No, they replied. The others were worried too, since the mountain was huge. However, they were at a resort, so they were technically safe. However, Sarah and Butterfly still couldn't find Isabel anywhere. Sarah was looking a little pale. A misstep in this snowy area may spell one's doom. Where's Sophie? Why is she gone as well? It was then Cecilia realized that Sophie had disappeared, too. I thought we all agreed to meet up back here after an hour. Butterfly expression turned grim. What do we do? There's an avalanche over there. Quick, we need to do a head count to see if everyone's here. Yeah. Everyone, please do that because a few women were said to be trapped underneath the snow due to the avalanche. Butterfly and Cecilia exchanged a glance upon hearing that conversation between two random people. It can't be, can it? Then again, Sophie and Isabel are both absent. While Sarah was also panicking, she was aware she needed to remain calm. What do we do now, Sarah? Cecilia had always been a star, so regardless of what happened, she would always count on her manager to handle matters for her. However, at that moment, she honestly had no idea what to do. In response, Sarah pulled out her phone and continued to call Sophie and Isabel, but neither of them answered. Consequently, she began grimacing as well. Don't panic. Sophie is quite skilled. If Isabel's with her, they'll probably be fine. Butterfly was aware of how scarily adept Sophie was. As time marched on, she also couldn't help but worry. Sadly, she had no clue what to do next. We should split up and find them, Cecilia suggested. It's dangerous here, and you're a star, Cecilia. Many people know you, so you should go back first, Sarah urged. I can't let her stay here after what happened. Immediately, Cecilia shook her head. How can I leave when I don't know what their situation is right now? I'm not the type who'll abandon my friends, Butterfly argued. Listen to Sarah, Cecilia. Someone has already recognized you. You'll only bring chaos if you don't leave this place. Aggrievedly, Cecilia refused. There's no way I can leave at ease without knowing how Sophie's doing right now. Perhaps others don't understand my friendship with Sophie, but I genuinely can't sit by and watch something terrible happen to her. Relax. Nothing bad will happen with Sarah and me around. Also, the rescue team has arrived, so things will be fine, Butterfly assured. After Cecilia was sent back to the hotel, she kept checking her phone anxiously for the latest news about the avalanche. However, there was no information about Sophie or Isabel. Additionally, She would call them both every few minutes, but they never answered. Meanwhile, the rescue team, Sarah, and Butterfly were all busy searching for Isabel and Sophie. However, they still couldn't find any traces of the duo even after sunset. Butterfly's countenance grew darker. The longer we take to locate them, the less likely we'll find them alive. As capable as Sophie is, she can't just brush off an avalanche. What do we do now, Sarah? She asked. The rescue team members don't seem to be giving their best. If this continues, we may never see the two of them again. It was then Tristan called Sarah, likely because he had learned the news. After Sarah answered the call, she spoke in a trembling voice. Sophie and Isabel haven't been located yet. The rescue team has been searching for them. So far, 10 bodies have been discovered dead. She didn't want to imagine what Sophie and Isabel would do if something really happened to them. Tristan tightened his grip around the phone and pursed his lips straight. Okay, I got it. Felix and I are on our way. You girls take good care of yourselves. Then he hung up the phone. His words put Sarah at ease a little. While she was his older sister, she still relied heavily on him. Often, a few words from him would be enough to reassure her. Meanwhile, Tristan and Felix were already boarding a plane because they immediately arranged for the flight once they learned of the news. They didn't speak much to each other during the flight, but they were thinking of the same thing. If they knew an avalanche was going to happen, they wouldn't have let the girls leave. Felix especially was feeling regretful. If I had insisted on going with her that day, perhaps this wouldn't have happened. As for Tristan, he was staring at the picture of Sophie skiing on his phone. She still looks so alive here. I have to believe she's doing fine. By the time the men arrived at their destination, it was already past 4 in the morning, meaning it had been more than 10 hours since Sophie and Isabel had disappeared. The possibility of anyone still alive was slim after so much time had passed. When Sarah saw Tristan and the Jetroinian rescue team he brought with him, she approached him, though she wasn't sure what else to say. What do we do, Tristan? It's been more than 10 hours. With how harsh the weather is, I'm afraid. It's cold here, Sarah. You two should return first since you two can't help out much. He had arranged for some people to come to pick her and Butterfly up. No, I can't leave now. I want to stay and help. Sarah didn't want to leave. How can I when the people who went missing are two of the most important individuals in my life? Go back to the resort, Sarah. You won't be of much help even if you stay. Besides, the expert said there might be another avalanche happening at any moment, persuaded Tristan. It was why everyone on the mountain had evacuated except for the rescue team. Sarah had reached her limits since she hadn't eaten anything over the past 10 hours. Thus, she came to realize she really wouldn't be of any help and left the place with Butterfly as Tristan had suggested. Tristan and Felix scowled as they stared at the white snow everywhere. The former had already pulled some strings to mobilize Jetroina's national rescue team, hoping to locate Sophie and Isabel soon. Move faster. While Felix was directing other people, Tristan stood and watched. The death count continued to climb. The only good news was that Sophie and Isabel weren't among those who were found dead. Mr. Tristan, do you think? When Felix thought about how much pain the woman he loved might be in, he felt difficulty breathing. I don't know what to do. While I hope she'll be fine, it has been half a day since she disappeared. The chances of her survival are small. They'll be fine. Don't worry, Tristan comforted. We mustn't panic right now. I believe in Sophie. She knows how much I love her. There's no way she'll abandon me and leave this world so soon. That's why we shouldn't panic and just search for them. After Jetroina's president learned of the matter, he hurriedly arrived at the mountain, even though he knew his presence there wouldn't be helpful. Still, he came to express his support and assured, "Don't worry, Mr. Tristan. We'll do our very best to save them." Since Sophie and Isabel went missing in his territory, if his people failed to rescue them, his collaboration with Tristan might fall apart. That was why he ignored his own safety to come to the mountain. Thank you. At that moment, Tristan wasn't in the mood for diplomacy. All he wanted was to find Sophie and bring her home. The president's secretary was slightly displeased by Tristan's attitude. Does he know who he's talking to? Our president has personally come here to speak with him. So why is he displaying that sort of attitude? Besides, this is a natural disaster. No one wants this to happen. It has nothing to do with the president. Mr. President didn't sleep at all during the night, Mr. Tristan. He's been worrying about the matter too. His desire for Tristan to show respect to the president was apparent. In response, Tristan glanced at him and questioned, "So? What do you want me to do?" That shut the secretary up. Immediately, the president said, "Please don't mind my subordinate's words, Mr. Tristan. I know you're feeling anxious, but there's no need for you to worry. Our country's rescue team is very competent. They'll find the women, dead or alive." "They're not going to die," snapped Tristan. "Their deaths are the last thing I want to hear." Yet he still had the gall to say it aloud. What is he trying to accomplish? It was then the president realized he had misspoken and clarified, "That's not what I meant. In any case, I know you're worried right now. I'll arrange for another troop to join the search." On the way down the mountain, his secretary inquired with confusion, "Why are you doing so much for Tristan, Mr. President? Is it really worth it? Most importantly, Tristan's so arrogant. He doesn't seem appreciative of the president's efforts at all. You're asking those questions because you aren't aware of how important he is to Jatroina. In any case, quit your yapping and send a troop here to help out." The president had always been eager to collaborate with Tristan, but never had the chance to do so. "This is the perfect opportunity to fulfill my wish. If we succeed in helping him out, Tristan will no doubt feel indebted to oblige my request." "Yes, Mr. President." While the secretary didn't understand the situation, he still earnestly carried out his boss's commands because his president had never made an incorrect decision. When Cecilia heard Sarah and Butterfly had returned to the hotel, she immediately left the room. The instant she saw their demeanor, tears welled in her eyes. "I don't want to believe it, but if they still haven't been located after so long, they're likely already. They still haven't been found yet, Sarah? It's been so long. She felt as though her body was drained of all energy. "If we didn't come here for holiday, this wouldn't have happened. I can't help but feel immensely guilty. I bet you two are tired right now, so just rest in the hotel, all right? Tristan is here, and he has mobilized Jatroina's National Rescue Team. Everything will be fine," Sarah comforted since there was nothing else she could say. Instead of replying, Butterfly returned to her room and relayed the news to other members of Wings of Light. She promptly asked them to join the rescue effort. Since Sophie was the founder of Wings of Light and their most significant backer, everyone hastily flew to Jatroina after learning what had happened. They were hellbent on saving Sophie regardless of the cost. When they arrived, Butterfly arranged their missions. "Don't worry, Butterfly. We know just how important Phantom is to everyone here," one of them remarked. The fact that they instantly abandoned what they were doing to come and rescue Sophie was a clear indication of their tight bonds. "Thanks, everyone," Butterfly said. Everyone had mobilized all available resources to contribute to the search. At that moment, they hoped the heavens would take pity on Sophie and spare her from a tragic death, especially with how difficult her life had been. Meanwhile, when Nicholas learned of the news, he hastily paid Jatroina's president a visit since he was in the country. The president didn't expect Nicholas would come. "You'd better keep this in mind. If anything happens to Sophie, I won't let you off," spat Nicholas coldly. "Do you know who you're talking to right now? How can you act so arrogant?" The president's secretary was upset by how people kept disrespecting his boss. Without delay, the president gestured for his secretary to shut up. "Leave the room. You're not needed here. I can't afford to offend Nicholas Sable." Then he placated Nicholas. "Don't worry, Mr. Sable. I've sent people to search for her." In response, Nicholas sneered. "I know Tristan's on the mountain right now, which is why I'm not there helping out. This matter is bloody depressing. Damn it, I didn't expect something like this would happen. If Sophie dies, who can I pursue in the future? I've prepared everything for her, so I mustn't allow any harm to come her way. It had been over 10 hours since Sophie and Isabel were buried under the snow. They had no idea what the situation outside was like, especially when all they could see was darkness. Isabel was reaching her limits as it had been hours since she last ate. When the avalanche occurred, Sophie was the one who pushed her into the hole to save her. However, as a result, Sophie's foot was pinned by a giant rock and she was immobilized. "Are you still alive, Sophie?" asked Isabel weakly. "I'm so scared right now. I don't want to die here." "I'm not dead yet. Just keep holding on." Sophie's voice sounded particularly weak, too. "This rock pressing on my leg is too heavy for me to push it away. I could have avoided it when the avalanche occurred, but when I saw Isabel standing there, I had to turn around and throw us both into this hole in order to survive." The hole was pretty cramped, so the air was running thin after the two of them were stuck inside for hours. "I'm sorry, Sophie. If not for me, you wouldn't have been trapped here as well." Isabel was aware of how physically skilled Sophie was. "If I didn't drag her down, she would have been fine right now. I feel very indebted to her." "All right, save your breath. They'll definitely rescue us." Sophie's voice sounded calm. "While our situation is dire, and we may very well die here, I still have hope that Tristan will find me, dead or alive." Of course, Isabel was aware it was pointless to talk about those stuff at that moment. However, she couldn't help it because she had never encountered anything like her current situation before. "I'm so thirsty right now." It had been more than 10 hours since she took in even a sip of water, so the thirst was unbearable for her. Sophie wasn't doing any better as she was only holding on by relying on her will to pull through the situation. "Why aren't you speaking anymore, Sophie? Are you all right?" The hole was too dark for Isabel to see her friend's situation. "There is no need to worry about me. I'm fine," Sophie comforted. "I think the condition of my leg is getting worse as time passes. If this continues, I may lose my leg." replied Isabel. "I'm so glad to have Sophie by my side right now. If I had been alone, I don't think I could have made it this far. You have to hang in there, Isabel. Your uncle and Felix will definitely come to rescue you." Sophie started to feel she was reaching her limit. "If I can't make it, I hope she will, since she should be in a better state compared to me." "What's the matter with you, Sophie?" As clueless as Isabel was, even she had noticed something was off about Sophie by that point. "Didn't she say we need to hold on together?" At that moment, Sophie couldn't hold the pain back anymore and groaned. Even though she had an iron will, she still subconsciously grunted. "Sophie." Isabel couldn't see, so she stretched her hand toward where she thought her friend was and felt the sensation of a liquid. "There's no water inside here. This must mean... Are you bleeding?" Horror was heard in her voice as she wondered what to do. "Where are you injured, Sophie?" "You." How did she bleed so much? Is she going to die? Why do I always drag people down with me? Remorsefully, she apologized. "I'm sorry, Sophie. If not for me, you wouldn't have ended up like this. As I said, save your breath and conserve your energy." Right after Sophie ended her sentence, she fainted. "Sophie." No matter what Isabel said next, Sophie couldn't reply to her anymore. Meanwhile, Tristan was still directing the rescue team. Even though the sun had risen from the horizon, they still hadn't found a clue to the women's location. "You should eat something, Mr. Tristan. The president had sent us some food," informed Felix. "He should be getting hungry after searching for the whole night." Tristan waved his hand as he didn't have any appetite. "I still haven't found leads to Sophie's and Isabel's whereabouts yet." The captain of the rescue team approached them and said, "Mr. Northley, you and your team should eat first. Continue the search after you're done," Felix replied. "It's not that I'm shirking from my responsibilities by saying this, but it's been almost 18 hours, Mr. Northley. I think the chances of them surviving are close to zero." While the captain was aware they wouldn't like what he had to say, he still had to speak the truth. Without delay, Tristan stared at the captain with a fraught look. Upon seeing that, the captain shut his mouth and went to eat. Well, I guess I'll have to eat and then keep going. Moments later, Sarah called to ask about the situation. Tristan briefly answered while sounding as though it took him all his strength just to utter a word. It's likely Sophie and Isabel are never coming back, Tristan. While Felix didn't want to give up, he was sure a delicate woman like Isabel would have perished by that point. Are you saying you're giving up? Uttered Tristan calmly, as though he was emotionless. Felix gritted his teeth. Of course, I haven't given up yet. It's just that. This is too painful, so painful that I almost can't breathe. I've only been with her for such a short time, so why did things turn out like this? I don't want to hear something like that coming out of your mouth again. I will find them, Tristan insisted. Sophie's the type of woman who's afraid of the cold. I bet she's feeling awful right now. Upon seeing Tristan like that, Felix could only keep his spirit up. After learning about Sophie's accident, Chenia's president sent out their own rescue team. He was willing to expend any resources to locate Sophie because she was an invaluable talent in Chenia's medical industry. Even though several factions of people were searching for the two women on the mountain, they still couldn't find the duo. Lincoln had also learned what happened to Isabel in Jetroina. However, at that moment, he had an urgent matter to attend to, so he couldn't leave. His expression was cold as ice when he thought of his daughter's demise. I only have one daughter. While I don't want her to join the entertainment industry, I can't deny she's talented, especially after I listened to her song recently. I want to praise her, let her sing, and tell her that no matter what she decides to do, I'll always support her. Well, it looks like I'll never have the chance to do so. After calling Sarah numerous times, he still hadn't received any news about his daughter. He was usually a tough guy, but at that moment, tears welled in his eyes. After Nicholas told Alex about the avalanche, the latter rushed over to Jetroina. He didn't have the nerve to say a word when he saw how Nicholas was acting. Do you know why I've asked you to come here, Alex? Nicholas questioned. To find Sophie. That was something Alex would know even if Nicholas didn't mention it. I'm glad you're aware of that. Tristan's men are also searching for her, so I want you to find her before he does. Nicholas' plan was to snatch Sophie away from Jetroina. Only then would he have the chance to enact the plan he had. Many other people are searching for Ms. Tanner right now, Mr. Nicholas. I'm not sure. In response, Nicholas glared at him. Don't tell me those things. I only want to see the results. Anything else isn't within my scope of consideration. I've already hired the best hypnotist in the world. Now, I just need to find Sophie. If I can take her away, she'll finally belong to me.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.